Most YouTube channels don't fail slowly, they die quietly. One day you're excited, you upload, you refresh analytics, nothing. A week passes, still nothing. And at some point, without announcing it, you stop calling yourself a YouTuber. Here's the uncomfortable part. Most people don't fail because they're bad. They fail because they're doing exactly what everyone else is doing. They copy the advice, they chase virality, they wait for the algorithm to notice them. And YouTube lets them do it, right up until they burn out and disappear. Now here's the question most people are scared to ask. If millions of people are trying, and almost all of them lose, what do the few who grow actually understand that everyone else completely misses? Because it's not talent, it's not luck, and it's definitely not posting more. There's a mindset mistake almost everyone makes in the first months on YouTube. And once it locks in, your channel is basically dead on arrival. Because somewhere early on, almost every creator makes the same invisible mistake. It doesn't look dramatic. It doesn't feel like failure. But once it's there, everything you upload starts working against you. Most people never notice it. They just feel tired, confused, unmotivated, and then they disappear. If you understand what's actually happening here, YouTube stops feeling random. Growth stops feeling mystical, and quitting stops feeling inevitable. Don't blink. This is the part most people skip, and then spend years wondering what went wrong. Most people don't lose on YouTube because they lack discipline. They lose because they start with the wrong deal in their head. They tell themselves, I'll try this for a few months. If it works, great. If not, whatever. That sounds reasonable, and it's not. Because YouTube doesn't reward trying. It rewards commitment before proof. The moment you expect fast results, every slow week feels personal. Every low view feels like rejection. Every upload becomes a test of your worth. And now you're not building a channel. You're negotiating with your ego. This is where the poison kicks in. You start watching analytics like a heart monitor. You refresh instead of improve. You change direction every time you feel insecure. One video doesn't work, panic. Another underperforms, doubt. 3 in a row, existential crisis. So you tell yourself, maybe I need a better niche. Maybe I need better gear. Maybe YouTube just isn't for me. No, you just walked into a long-term game with short-term expectations. That mismatch kills more channels than bad editing, bad thumbnails, or bad ideas ever will. The creators who survive don't feel less doubt. They just remove expectations from the equation. They stop asking, is this working yet? And start asking, am I getting better at this? That shift is small, but it changes everything. Here's something no one warns you about. YouTube is emotionally boring at the beginning. No applause, no validation, no feedback loop. You're basically talking to the void and pretending it's a strategy. And humans are terrible at delayed rewards. So when months pass and nothing happens, most creators don't decide to quit. They slowly disappear. One missed upload, then another, then silence. Not because they're lazy, but because their brain didn't get paid. The creators who win, they don't wait for motivation. They treat the early phase like training, not performance. Nobody watches your first videos. Good. That's privacy while you suck. Now, here's a sneaky one. Most creators don't stop learning. They stop doing. They binge. How to grow fast. How to beat the algorithm. 10 hacks YouTubers don't want you to know. And they feel productive without changing anything. That's not learning. That's entertainment disguised as growth. Real creators do something uncomfortable. They take one idea and apply it immediately, even if it makes the video worse. Growth comes from execution, not consumption. If your watch history is smarter than your channel, you're not a creator. You're a spectator. Everyone wants to be unique from video one. Bad idea. Trying to be original before you understand the basics is like freestyle dancing before learning how to walk. The channels that grow early don't reinvent YouTube. They study what already works and execute it cleanly. Same structures, same pacing, same clarity. Then, after they understand the rules, they break them. Originality is a reward, not a starting point. Let me be brutal. Most small channels aren't bad. They're confusing. Random topics, random tone, random audience. The algorithm doesn't know who you're for. Viewers don't know why they should come back. And if one person can't clearly say, this channel is for people who want X, you're invisible. Clarity creates momentum. Confusion kills it. Pick a lane. Speak to one type of person. Solve one type of problem. Growth loves simplicity. Here's where most effort gets wasted. YouTube is not fair. 80% of results come from 20% of the work. And that 20% is the idea, the title, the thumbnail, the first 30 seconds. You can edit for 10 hours. Doesn't matter. If your idea is weak, no one clicks. If your opening is boring, no one stays. The algorithm doesn't care how hard you tried. It only reacts to behavior. Attention is the currency. Earn it or disappear. People hear be consistent and think it's motivational fluff. It's not. Consistency is how your storytelling improves, your pacing tightens, your intuition sharpens. Every upload is feedback. Every video is data. The creators who grow fastest aren't more talented. They simply stayed long enough for their skills to compound. Most people quit right before things start making sense. Now, here's the part nobody tells you. Sometimes the problem isn't you, it's the niche. Too small, too saturated, too boring. Smart creators don't cling to ego. They adapt, they pivot, they reposition, they test. Quitting a strategy is not quitting the mission. Staying stuck out of pride is how channels die slowly. So why do 99% of channels never grow? Not because they're unlucky. Not because YouTube is rigged, not because they started too late. They fail for quieter reasons. They look for shortcuts in a game that punishes impatience. They wait for motivation instead of building discipline. They obsess over hacks while ignoring fundamentals. And when progress doesn't show up on schedule, they quit early and call it being realistic. That's not realism. That's fear wearing a reasonable mask. The creators who actually win don't feel special. They don't feel inspired every day. They don't wake up confident. They just understand something most people don't. YouTube rewards those who stay. They play the long game while others chase spikes. They respect the craft instead of demanding results. They build skill quietly while everyone else performs loudly. And here's the part nobody likes hearing, because it's boring and it's true. If you're willing to do the work that feels invisible, unsexy, and unrewarded, for longer than feels comfortable, you don't need luck. You don't need permission. You don't need a miracle. You need time, and time is ruthless. It exposes the desperate and crowns the patient. Most people leave before time can help them. If you don't, you're already playing a different game, and that's where growth actually begins.